Shalom. This skimpy tree that you see behind me is actually our apple tree, which is getting ready for winter, losing its leaves and hopefully getting ready to tank up on rain, which unfortunately hasn't yet come. Apple trees actually play an important part in this week's parsha, as I'll try to explain. The centerpiece of this week's parsha is a dramatic event in which Yaakov dresses up in goat skins and brings to his father Yitzchak some food, some delicacies that have been prepared by his mother Rivka, in the hope of getting the Bechorah, the blessings that Yitzchak was going to pass on to the Bechor, the eldest, and who would then continue carry on the mantle of the grandfather Avraham, and continue the work that would eventually lead to the establishment of the Jewish people. Now Yitzchak is blind, and so of the five senses that we have, he can't use what's the most important one, which is sight, in order to recognize who is coming in to get the blessing. This is the core of the story. So he has to use four other remaining senses. So first he uses the sense of hearing and the sense of touch. And it's a tie. He says, Akol kol Yaakov, v'yadayim b'dei Esav. Sense of hearing tells him that the man standing before him is Yaakov. But touching the goat skins on his arm, he feels that it's Esav. So he's still not sure. Then the touch of the sense of taste. After Yaakov presents him with the food that he prepared for Rivka, Yitzchak drinks some wine, eats from the food. But this is inconclusive because this is Rivka's cooking, which Yitzchak liked very much. But it was Rivka's cooking. She said, I'll make him matamim, I'll make him, delicacies that I know that he likes. So he's down to his last sense, which he can use to try to see who's in front of him and whether the person in front of him is worthy of the bracha. And then he says, he smells him. And he says, Reach b'ni kereach sadeh sheberecho Hashem. After smelling him, he says, the scent that comes from my son is like the scent of a field that God has blessed. And this clinches it, and he goes on and gives Yaakov the bracha. Now, what is it about the sense of smell? The sense of smell allows us, and not just us, but even animals, to get at something beneath the surface. For example, if you take something out of the refrigerator, and it looks like the food is good and wholesome, but you smell it, you can detect that inside there's something that's already gone and spoiled, and you shouldn't eat it. So it's nothing mystical to say that the sense of smell reveals the internal characteristics that are not seen to the eye. But of course, this carries on in a more deeper and profound sense when speaking, as in our story of Yitzchak trying to decide who the person is before him. And he smells something. The smell gives him the message, this is the right person because it smells like a field that God has blessed. Now, what does this mean? Well, there are many, what was the smell? What does it smell like? Rashi, on the basis of the Gemara in Tanis, I think, says that this is a field of apples. And this image, I would call it, of apple field has come on to take great mystical meaning in the Kabbalah. The Chakal Tapuchin Kadishin, the field of holy apples, which is considered to be basically the ground zero, the ground floor of Gan Eden, of the Garden of Eden. According to the Kabbalah, it's where the souls of people are growing. They're netiot. There's shoots there that, eventually find their way into this world and hopefully make it back safely. It plays a great role in Shabbat, in the Friday night meal, the first of the three meals of the Shabbat, which according to the Kabbalah, and people like Chabad make a big deal of this, is dedicated to this aspect of reality. And therefore, we sing, those of us who hold on to these ideas, Azame B'Shvachim, Bego Pitchin. I'm going to sing about as I am in the entrance to Chakal Tapuchin Kadishin, the Chakal Tapuchin Dinan Kadishin, the field of apples that are holy. And actually, when the minhag started to go out into the fields, literally to go out into the fields to accept to welcome the Shabbos, it was based on this notion of Chakal Tapuchin Kadishin, this mystical image of a field of apple trees, which represents or is an instantiation of the ground floor of Gan Eden. And this is what Yaakov was radiating or giving off exuding in the sense of smell that got into Yitzchak, and he decided, as we now know correctly, that Yaakov was the right person, the man who really warranted the bracha. There was no mistake. It may have been a tie between the senses of touch and hearing, a kol Yaakov Yadam B'nei Esav, but when he scented him, you could tell this was the man who really comes from the highest spiritual places and is worthy of the bracha. So, have a good Shabbos, and thank you for watching and listening.